What's up? Welcome back to another market recap. Today is April 3rd, 2025. Was a pretty interesting day, to be honest. A lot of news around all of Trump's tariff stuff. Pretty much made every market go crazy, from crypto to stocks, commodities to forex, everything. It just lost its mind. But luckily for me, I'm not long term invested. So volatility really just creates opportunities. So I welcome it. I'm all for the extended volatility right now. It's pretty cool. So, but we'll get into it. I took 3 trades today. So I ended up taking a trade late last night, a micro time frame trade. Um, if I'm honest with myself, I probably forced this trade a little bit. I have this thing right now where I really want to maintain at least taking a trade a day. If it wins, if it fails, doesn't really matter. I just want to keep compounding, at least taking a trade a day. So I know to hit my targets that I'm after, I need to take roughly 5, 6 trades a week. So if I go a whole day without taking a trade, then I know it just makes it tougher and tougher for me towards the end of the week to kind of hit the target I'm after. So the trade was an IBO, and we'll go back in time here. And it was on pound Aussie. So when we finished our watch list yesterday, there wasn't a whole lot, but I did mention that I'd be paying attention to some of these overextended pairs due to all this news, looking for some micro time frame plays. And pound Aussie gave a decent 2-minute kind of micro time frame play. I waited a while on this entry, so I could have gone with my normal limit order entry, but I wanted this to break down a little further first. It was kind of a shallow break. And this is why I say I think I could have possibly forced this just because I was looking for another trade. But it's still fit. So, I mean, we had a level here, and the level had been previously respected, and it's being respected in front of us. It's forming a triangle pattern. We get a break of that pattern to the downside. So this is the first kind of, hey, this trade's changing trend. We have a lower low, and I'm looking to enter really at 0.32 and the 50 EMA. Like if I could have entered here and it just gone straight to target, beautiful trade. But I waited a little while on this, and I think I used a 5-second entry, possibly. Yeah. So I waited, and I took a 5-second entry on the break of the EMA. After price kind of formed this double top on the 5-second time frame. At the time of the entry, I watched price just kind of explode here, and I hadn't set a limit or anything. I was just kind of watching it with my finger over the button, ready to enter if needed. When price got into my value area, but watching price explode that quickly sketched me out a little bit. So I just wanted to see a little more. And once I saw the double top and price started to break down again, it was enough for me to go, all right, I haven't taken a trade today. It's good enough. Let's see if it'll play out. So it initially broke down enough so that it broke the 30-second 50 EMA pretty clearly, so that I was able to do P1 management, which is essentially clip this high. But pound Aussie has a little bit of a spread for me. And markets are pretty volatile right now. So I went a little higher than I normally would with the stop. Normally I'd clip about right here, but I decided to be a little safe, do the spreads and whatnot, and just go a little bit above it. Ironically, price kind of just reversed right after I did P1 and went straight to the stop loss, tapped me out, and then continued downwards. And then kind of just chopped along here for a while. Honestly, if I had somehow survived this and I wasn't able to do P1 and I was still in this trade and it came down, I likely would have done P2. So I would have moved this trade to a break even as it broke down right here, came back and retested the 30-second 50 and then followed through. On this follow through, I likely would have moved my stop to break even. And then so when price kind of pushed back up right here, right there, it would have tapped me out. So this trade did kind of ultimately play out. The idea of it did. It's just that my management style wouldn't allow me to stay in this trade. So if you had no management, you kind of just like sent it and closed it. If you got to 1R plus, then you could have captured something here. But with my management style, there really wasn't a way for me to capture any of it. So it is what it is. Was a trade. Slight loss for 0.58 on that one. So the second trade I took was first thing in the morning. What time was this? Let's go back in time here. And it was an ABO. So price had been kind of falling down and down and down, as you can see on this 1 hour chart. So at some point, price has to reverse. So usually I wait for price to break out of like a trend line like this, right? Like it's just holding this beautiful trend all the way down, 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 down. And at the time I had this line drawn in about there. So it came down, respected this, respected it again, right? So kind of 3 touches. I got a little bit of MACD coming in. And so I decided to try for an ABO kind of style breakout play. I like them sometimes just because the risk to reward is usually greater. So if I wait for the breakout and the retest and then take like an IBO, I'm going to be targeting like a 2-to-1 trade. But if I can catch the ABO and I time it correctly, I can catch like a 4-to-1 plus kind of position sizing. So at the time I was targeting roughly the 10-minute 50 and a little bit below the overall 0.382 fib level for the movement on the 1 hour chart. So a pretty, solid, safe target. Similar to what I'd be targeting if this broke out and went and gave me an IBO entry. So I played with a live entry, 5-second entry. As price kind of came down, broke the EMA at this previous kind of low that had been hit it, a couple times here. I entered live there. Price just kind of chilled. It pushed up enough to allow me to do P1. So at that point, I just clipped these lows, right? And then price essentially came back down and knocked me out shortly afterwards for a small loss, so 0.34R. So those 2 trades, 0.58, 0.34, what is that? A little less than 1R or so. That's what I'm sitting at negative for the day right now. And then the third trade I took was dollar PLN. So after the 1 ABO attempt, I decided I was just going to wait until I found a pair that gave a kind of a solid, IBO, CBO, but at least just broke the downward trend and gave me a good entry spot. And that's where I found this trade. Go about roughly there. And we'll put on one of these pivots so you can see it. So I did use a limit order for this entry. But it gave me pretty much everything I want to see. So I have this kind of support and resistance zone where price had previously respected here, respected it there, respected as support, as resistance, 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 breaks back below above it. So now I'm expecting to come back and then treat it as support. But also I have my 50 EMA, my 200 EMA there. So this is a CBO. I've got a clear break of this downward trend. You know, I already have a higher low. You know, price comes back up. It gives me a higher low. And then, so this is the higher high. So I already have a full trend confirmation. And I'm just looking to take the wave 3 CBO here at this point. So solid limit order entry, as well as it had a live order, a live entry on a 5-second or a 15-second if you wanted to, kind of at the break of this trend line or the break of this EMA. Either one would have worked. Or it had another entry shortly afterwards as well. So multiple different entries depending on your entry style for this. And then the trade played out beautifully. I was able to execute P1 on the break of the 50, and then P2 on this kind of retest and push up. So I just kind of clipped that low. So this put me a little bit more than break even on the trade. And I'm just kind of chilling. And then price pushes past my 1R on it. And once it was sitting at roughly the like 1.5 level for me or so, I just went ahead and locked in the 1-to-1 and then just rode price up. But as price started to get really close to my target, I look to usually get super aggressive here. So I drew in this trend line on the 5-second, and on the moment it broke that trend line, I exited manually for 1.81R. So the trade ended up continuing, obviously. Like this trade would have been, it could have been like a 4R trade, but with my trading style and how I position these, the most I would have caught on it is the 2R. So, but all in all, I feel good about it. I executed it correctly. I managed it correctly per my plan, and I exited it per my plan. So honestly, I feel good about all 3 trades that I took. I executed them all per my given rule set, and then I managed them per my rule set, and they were what they were. So this trade put me positive for the day. It put me up a little less than 1R, so which puts me at 3.39R for the week right now with 5 trades. So I'll be looking to see if I can't find something tonight, but more than likely, hopefully find something tomorrow morning. I try and target between 4 and 5R a week. So it's really where I like to land. So I'm looking to capture really like another 1.5R, 2R, at the bare minimum, another 1R, which is fully doable. I mean, there's a lot of volatility out there right now. So should it be something out there I can trade. So all in all, good day. Good day. I kind of chilled at this point. You know, I already taken 3 trades for the day. I usually only take 1 or 2. But being that the first 2 were losing trades, I really want to end every day feeling like the day is a success. And for me to feel like a day is a success, I'd like to end the day in profit. So preferably like 1R plus. In this case, I'm a little less, but given it took me 3 trades to get some profit, I decided to stop there and call the day a success. There was a number of other micro time frame trades that did play out. Shortly after, that dollar PLN was one of the first, dollar pairs to kind of break out and give a retest style entry. But you also had dollar CAD do the same thing like 30 minutes to an hour later, and it gave a pretty nice live entry. Could also enter this on a limit. It would have been really tight on a limit. but it's manageable. But it had this nice kind of trend, double bottom, break of the EMAs and that trend line. So it had a solid live entry right there, 5 second, 15 second, whatever you prefer. And then price just kind of like slowly pushed its way up. After looking at this trade ended up playing out for the full 2R after a couple of hours. With the way I managed, though, I more than likely would have locked in my one on this push right here. And then I'm pretty sure price came back down a little while later, shortly after that, like right here, and would have clipped me out for a 1-to-1 on this trade with my management style. But the trade ultimately played out for the full target. And there was a number of kind of pairs like that that were all happening at the same time. Some of them pulled back, some of them did not. I know Aussie dollar did, dollar CAD pulled back and gave an entry. Dollar yen, I don't think did. And then the other trade I was watching was euro pound at that same time. It didn't fully pull back, but similar concept to all the dollar pairs, right? Kind of a break of the upwards trend, retest. So most of them are all IBOs at this point, and a follow through down. And I think dollar NOK also had a trade right here. So very similar to the dollar PLN trade. But this was occurring roughly 30, 45 minutes after I had taken the dollar PLN. So yeah, a lot of steps today. A lot of opportunity out there to make some money. So, but volatility will do that, at least for kind of trading micros like this. When you go to split to a daily chart, like they look like crap. I already went through here and looked through a bunch of different stuff trying to find trades, but because of such the giant movement yesterday and most of today, it makes price action not look super great in my eyes on a lot of this stuff with how I trade. But these large movements, if you flip down a couple of levels and you go to some micros, they become a lot more manageable, and there's opportunities. So a lot of opportunities. So this was the original dollar Swiss trade that I took a loss on. See price just kind of continued going down for a little while and then eventually broke that trend that I had drawn in. And then price just carried for a little while. And now it's kind of coming back down and retesting these lows. It may get all the way there. It may not. So this is where you might have a second kind of opportunity at these. This is what I'll be looking at tonight, come tomorrow morning during New York session, see if I can find another one of these dollar plays based off of all this volatility recently to snipe a quick, 1 to 2R, 2R preferably, be nice. So all in all, solid day. It's been a solid week so far. Feels pretty good. For the daily watch list, I already went through and flagged some pairs. As far as like normal non-exotics, I had pound CAD flagged kind of for CBO-esque play. It's not the greatest, but I think it's an option, right? And when there's not many options here, I'm just trying to like make stuff work. Euro Swiss, similar to the pound trade, pound Swiss. This would need like a hell of a pullback is the only problem. But I mean, it has this trend, a clear breakdown, a pullback of it would be nice. But by the time this pulls back, probably won't look great anymore. But there might be some opportunities to play this pullback in some micro timeframes. So what I did find, though, are a number of exotic pairs. So I've been talking about dollar NOK, and I still like it, and I still think it has potential to go up. But granted, there's a lot of dollar weakness right now with this tariff stuff. but your 4-hour layout, you kind of have this IBO style, somewhat ugly, but it is there, play forming. So this could push price even higher. And now if you get price to come up and push, you'll even have like a very nice like weekly reversal setup and whatnot. So I like dollar knock. I think there's knock weakness. And so I went to the exotic pairs. And if you go look at like CAD knock, I don't know if I can trade this due to spreads, because right now the spreads are kind of crazy on it. So it wouldn't allow me to trade this. But there's a setup here. You know, is it the best setup in the world? No, but it's a setup. You have a break a trend, a retest, go higher, right? Knock weakness. CAD PLN is very similar. But if you go to Swiss knock, now this looks pretty nice in my eyes. Like you have this clear trend all the way down, and now you have a break of that trend. So you have a higher high, clear higher high, and as price comes down and retests this level, which should line up with the fib levels, right? As price comes back down and retests this area, you'll get your higher lows, so a full trend confirmation. It's a CBO on the 1 hour. It's a IBO on the 4 hour, right? So it looks solid. If this pulls back, it's going to be an ACB on your 10-minute. So it has 3 different strategies at play depending on how you look at it and what time frame. So looks like a very solid trade. You know, DDP wise, you know, you have this deceleration, then a strong bullish engulfing candle. So a very nice trade. Now I don't know if I can trade this due to the spread. If this was dollar knock, I'd trade this all day long. It is a very nice setup. Similar thing with Swiss PLN, right? A little higher of a push, so it kind of needs a further pullback. Don't know if you'll get it, but this Swiss knock, one of the nicest trades I've seen today. Euro knock, also very similar. Now, my question is, what does the spread on Euro knock look like around London session maybe? Maybe this becomes more manageable. But with my broker, I can't really trade it right now. Euro PLN, similar. Euro SEC also kind of has a little bit of an IBO-esque style play. It's not as great, but it's still something here, right? Kind of a break of this trend up, retest, go higher, right? So it's an option. But if you're operating with a broker that you've got really great spreads on with these exotic pairs, these are options right now. These are some pretty solid options in my eyes. And then I have a kind of a random pound Mexican in here, right? But this pair is kind of similar to, I don't even know if I like that anymore. I don't really like that trend line. This pair though is similar to the pound Swiss and Euro Swiss. Like Euro and pound are pretty tied together. So as one moves, the other one sort of kind of moves, just like how Aussie and Kiwi pairs kind of move together. So their setups usually have some correlation and mirror a little bit. And then knock DKK, also another option. Spreads a little bit better on this one. I don't know what kind of leverage I can get because I've never traded this pair before. But it's interesting, right? So for me, day trades wise, I'm watching these knock pairs primarily and trying to see if the spreads will chill out enough on any of them, depending on what session I'm in, to allow me to get an entry. And then I have this random Singapore or Hong Kong that I don't get crap for leverage on Hong Kong pairs, but still a nice setup. Like I would trade this all day long if it was on one of your majors or one of your minors, right? Very nice. So for a daily watch list perspective, mainly I just have exotic pairs. And then tomorrow and tonight, I'll be focused on seeing if I could find another micro time frame trade or two to get me to my weekly target. So the only other trade that we didn't go through that we had on watch yesterday was really the only thing we saw yesterday from a daily watch list perspective, which was dollar Mexican, which ended up playing out. It was a very kind of quickish entry. I did not take this. I honestly wasn't even looking at it. I didn't even check it until the next day. I was really more focused on trying to catch one of those micro time frame plays and focused on pound Aussie at the time. But this gave an entry right at our watch list yesterday or shortly after. Normal position sizing, 2-to-1. You would have played out. You could have pushed this trade to a 4-to-1 and it would have played out, honestly. So overall, nice, simple, kind of quick trade. Little weird-esque CBO, but still a trade. It was probably the best option that there was yesterday, and it worked out. So that's all I really got. I got a bunch of exotics. Took 3 trades today, made some money, feeling good. Going into Friday, hopefully tomorrow is Fun Coupon Friday, and then it can lead shortly into Fuck It Friday right after that. So that's all for me. That's all I got. I will catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.